From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, baseball's misery over. The success of the softball team continues for another weekend at least. Brooks Koepka, he's back, y'all. And the On3 Top 100 for 2023. Discuss, everybody. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. That's in Tallahassee, Florida, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. CPTallybar.com is the website. You can check out their website by going to CPTallybar.com or hitting that QR code on your screen. Daily lunch specials, weekdays, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., only $8.99. Mondays, build your own burger, half-pound black Angus beef. Get a side dish, straight fries, curly fries, onion rings, potato salad, broccoli, or side salad, tater tots, heck, even freshly cooked potato chips. Again, for only $8.99. And don't forget, tomorrow, Trivia Tuesday over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Thumbs up, 5-star rating and review, please. We certainly would appreciate that because Corey Clark's here, everybody. Corey Clark, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy? What's up? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, solid, man. It was good. Good. A little R&R, a little heading to the Plex, watching the Noles, drop the hammer on the SEC. It was good. Very well-rounded weekend. What about you, man?
Good, buddy. Good. I came up. I covered the softball on Friday and Saturday, then drove up Saturday night up here to Atlanta, and Brady's team had a game on Sunday, so watched that, and then came home and watched all the fireworks. Had Koepka going, had the Noles softball team. Perfection. Yeah. Just a lot of exciting stuff on Sunday.
Good day to be a Nole. It's always a good day to be a Nole. Good day to be a subscriber to Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Head over there, subscribe. I don't want to bury the lead, but I feel like we got to talk about football whenever we have forcing the football. That's kind of my brand, if you will, Corey. So
we're coming out of the gate forcing it.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, all right.
If they win the Supers, then we'll lead with softball. And I feel bad. I do, especially because I saw their dads. There's this one section where all the dads seemingly hang out and to watch them nervous the entire time, but then embrace afterwards. And I want to say, I think it might have been Sandercock's dad who actually was like, "That was a perfect game. That was a flippin' perfect game." Just going nuts and hugging all the other guys. It was really cool. But wait 3 minutes, everybody, while we talk football.
Right. Okay.
On3 released their top 100, Corey. Florida State
right.
has 5 dudes on there.
Okay.
Is that enough for Florida State to win a national championship, do you think? Do you think they'll need 5 players? Is that enough to be the top 100 performing players of 2023 to bring home a national title, or do you think a couple other guys might have to sneak onto that list? They only got one guy in the top 10, one guy in the top 25, quite frankly. Jared Verse at number 5.
Oh, okay. Where's Jordan Travis?
36th.
Oh, I mean, that's odd. I would have thought maybe quarterbacks would be weighted a little higher. I get that there's probably people that are better at their position than Jordan Travis, but I like Jared Verse, I guess. And there are better draft prospects, but I wouldn't have thought. I mean, just because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country and that's such an important position, I would have had him higher up than that. But, hey, they didn't ask me. No. They didn't ask for my input. I guarantee it'll be a little bit higher on the Warchant top 40, everyone.
All right.
I don't know where he's going to be, but I think he's going to be, higher than 36.
Bo Nix 13th.
Yeah, that doesn't make
home office. What are we doing home office?
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I would say, so if you look at it that way, that's 3 rounds of the NFL draft, essentially. You have 5 players drafted in the first 3 rounds. I think you can. I don't know how many did Georgia have.
I didn't tabulate that. That would have taken too much time. This was kind of me doing stuff.
Can you just look at it right now? Just Control F Georgia.
Oh, come on! They say it many times in the article as well, though.
Oh, 12. I see.
All right, so I think 11.
Georgia has 11.
Yes. No, because they say they look like 9. I'm going to say 9. That's my final answer.
Jeez Louise.
Because they've got actual verbiage. They've got text describing this stuff in there. So it says it's got 12 results, and it looks like that's Georgia, that's Georgia, that's Georgia. So I counted 4 out of 12, so 8. All right, there you go. Final answer, 8.
All right, so they have 8, and Florida State has 5. And if you get a couple of guys that surprise, if Andrevius Jacobs steps up, or is Keon Coleman one?
No, but I think this might have dropped before he went ahead and put,
Yeah, but they knew he was going to be a college football player no matter where he ended up. I guess it helps to know what school he's going to be a part of. But, look, they have 5, let's say they have 5 top 100, and what would that, 8 of the top 150? Maybe, if you kept going. I think that's enough. You certainly have enough elite talent to compete for a championship, especially offensively. I don't know that. Did they have anybody else on defense?
Yes. Fentrell Cypress, 65th.
Okay, Cypress. Okay, all right. Well, okay. Hey, man. Again, spring isn't his time to shine.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the spring. Doesn't even need it. Doesn't
like
want it.
Shaq in his Laker years. Like regular season don't matter. Like wake me up when it's May, and I'll start playing.
And he'll care when it's August 26th, and he's got a week to prepare for LSU. Yeah, man. If Cypress ends up being the player that he was at Virginia, if we end up seeing that guy, plus you think about it. So I'm going to guess there it's Travis, Verse, Cypress, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Not in that order, but yeah, that's the Verse 5th, Jordan Travis 36th, Johnny Wilson 39th, Fentrell Cypress 65th, Trey Benson 78th.
And then think about Jaheim Bell. And think about
Jeremiah Byers,
the Keon Coleman. Like you've got dudes that are right there, I think, on the cusp. So yeah, they don't have 8 of the top 100, but they might have 8 of the top 130.
Okay.
And either way, at some point it's semantics. It's not like they're just top heavy, I guess is my point. Right. It's not like they just have 5 really good players and a bunch of kind of average ones, because you don't win like that. You certainly don't win championships like that. Like Renardo Green isn't one of the top 100 players in the country, according to On3. Renardo Green's a really good college football player. Fabian Lovett is a really good college football player. We think Braden Fisk is going to be one. Patrick Payton might be awesome. Like there's all these other guys. Kalen DeLoach, Tatum Bethune. They're not average football players. So, you hope that you have this elite talent, and then around it is, I don't even want to call them role players, because they're more than role players. Good college football players sprinkled in with some elite NFL talent is a really good recipe to get to the playoff.
In case you folks are wondering, the top 5 is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams at number 1, Drake May 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. 3, Brock Bowers 4th, Jared Verse 5th. In front of Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins, number 6 on that list from LSU.
Oh, yeah. How many LSU guys are there?
Come on,
did you count that up? Oh, I should. What am
I
I doing, everyone? That's my fault. Did I not did I not live 5 minutes ago when we tried this with Georgia?
3.
Only 3. So Perkins, Jaden Daniels.
Malik Neighbors, their wide receiver, which I don't know. I think that's just because there has to be a good LSU wide receiver. And then Will Campbell, their true freshman left tackle last year, but is now a sophomore. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Speaking of receivers from Louisiana, I'm pushing my chips in the middle of the table on Destin Hill. He posted something on social media. It was funny. It was just like, sorry for the wait, y'all. And then there was like 3 photos of him from his photo shoot at Florida State. He just has that look. He looks like Jamar Chase, like Justin Jefferson, like the build of those dudes that always seem to somehow filter into Baton Rouge and then go crazy every year, seemingly.
He doesn't look like Cooper Kupp.
No.
Okay, more of a Jamar Chase guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. All right, well, it's good that he has a sense of humor.
I think it's Adam Archuleta. He's got a good build. He's got a good build.
All right.
But, other side of the ball. But, yeah, it was great, right? You kind of poked – I know he poked fun at himself, but I thought it was really clever. He's just like, sorry for the wait.
Yeah, it's good that he has a sense of humor about it. And, look, man, talk about an ultimate wild card.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a guy that literally could have 0 catches this year, and it wouldn't surprise me, or could have 30 for 6 touchdowns. Like, we have no idea. Like, I don't know that we've ever had a player come into this program since I've been covering it with such a wild variance of what could be. Because if he's in any kind of shape and has had 2 years to get more physically mature, maybe he can contribute his first year. He doesn't come in as a normal freshman, clearly. But also he's coming into a receiver room that now, with the addition of Keon Coleman, is kind of loaded. So there's not a lot of passes to go around. But what if he's awesome?
Yeah.
What if he's just like undeniable, and you have to be like, well, we have to get. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Kentron. Sorry, Winston. This guy has to play because he's awesome. We'll see. I mean, we'll. The beauty, everyone, is you'll get to know all about him the very first week of practice in the preseason because we get to watch it all.
That's right. His high school film, very C.C. Davis, very Peter Warwick-esque. I mean, in terms of just that foot in the ground, just cut all kinds of crazy, like human joystick kind of stuff. So they played a really good program. And I don't know, just the fun. I'm like, look at the guy. He's like 6'2", 200. I thought he was a lot smaller. He was like a 5'10", 180 kind of guy. So that changed the calculus for me as well.
Think about those guys when you think about Hakeem, Portier, Coleman, Wilson, Destin Hill.
How about our guy Hakeem, by the way? Living it up down there at the Stranahan prom in a Maybach Benzo with like fanning out cash. Living it, man. Loving it. Loving it.
Hey, NIL, baby. NIL is a sweet ride. But yeah, so when you look at that wide receiver room, man, it's not and this isn't a shot at Willie. It's not even a shot at what Norvell did the first few years here. But remember like the year after the championship or 2 years after the championship when the receiver room was a bunch of 5'10" guys?
Yeah.
It was all Bobo Wilsons and Kermits. It was 5'10", 180 across the board. Travis Rudolph was their big receiver.
Right.
And now you look at this room, and it's an NFL-sized – I'm not saying these guys are an NFL wide receiver room. They have not proven that. But it looks like an NFL wide receiver position group. They have grown up. This is a big position now. A bunch of 6'2", over 200, guys that can run. I mean, obviously you still got the Jakais and you got Winston Wright, but, man, it's a bunch of big dudes.
Somebody was asking Ira and I on the game Sunday, too, about, like, don't forget about Winston Wright. I'm like, yeah, but how cool is that to be in a position now where he's a luxury? I think for a lot of people, he might have been kind of like, we need him to be right. Now it's like, it'd be good if he is. If not, I think we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
It kind of, you got a few luxuries.
Yeah.
Rodney Hill's a luxury. Morlock is a luxury. Winston Wright's a luxury. Name another one. Jakai's a luxury. Like you've got a lot of luxuries up and down the offensive line.
Yeah.
You've got 3 or 4 dudes. You've got 3 guys that will have started a bunch of football in college that will not be starting this year.
Yeah.
Like dozens, like 20 and 30 starts under their belt and will not be starting for this team. So again, man, the more you think about this offense and the more as we are getting so close now to just
under
all
100
football all
days,
the time.
under 100 days, under 100 days, Corey.
Well, and look, man, the way softball was going on Sunday, I'm like, man, we're about 9 more outs from football season officially. Like there's nothing left to cover, but except for the golf. Like the women's golf team is playing really well at nationals right now. Quick update because I know we wouldn't talk about that, but they're 5th. So the way it works is I think I don't know how many teams go out there, 25, 30, who knows.
Oh, you don't know, Corey? Oh, I can't really bring something up you don't know about it.
But after 3 days, it's the top 15 advance. And then after tomorrow, so today when you're listening to this, Florida State is 5th. I think they're 1 under par, and you have to finish in the top 8 of stroke play to then get to match play. So right now they're 5th. I think they're 7 clear or 6 clear of the 8th place team right now. So if they can just hold on to that and finish in that realm, that part of it, they will advance to match play, where they'll play 2 matches a day until you hope they win the national championship. But they finished in the top 15. They've made the top 15. They've advanced to the final round of stroke play, so good for them. And I think the men start next weekend.
Kind of like that pro from California that finished top 15 out at Oakmont, right? Like now he's got the exemption or whatever to not have to qualify next year. He can just show up. So
I was thinking about that though, man. So they showed all and that's Michael Block, right? Which was that hole-in-one was incredible. I mean, golf courses don't make those sounds. And it's always going to be loud when anybody gets a hole-in-one at a PGA championship. But when a club pro does it, and he's been playing well all week, and I think he's 45 years old, and he just sinks it. I mean, they're going to make a movie out of this. But yeah, so they showed all the things he's in line for because he finished, I think, 14th and it's one he qualified for the PGA next year. And that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Like to get to the Masters, he would have had to finish in the top 4.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, sorry, his name's not
That's why it's called the
flipping
Masters.
Scotty Scheffler. But I mean, you think most people that finish in the top 15 at the PGA Championship are probably already exempt from the Masters. So you would think like be a little more welcoming, Augusta.
Especially when it's your tour. It's the PGA Tour, and this guy is finishing in the top 15 in your premier event.
In your championship.
Let him get like 3 exemptions to like play in the Charles Schwab Invitational. Like that's an invitational, like one of the Opens,
Yeah.
So
Somebody brought up a good point that if any of these tour spots, if they have any brains at all, will give him exemptions here in the next month. Because he'll be such a big draw. Yeah. He should be playing in 3 of the PGA tournaments in the next month. But anyway, he's not the guy we want to talk about from the PGA tournament.
Yeah, I thought you had a really good segue when you were talking about. There was a moment on Sunday where you thought we were going to be talking about football all the time because of softball.
Yeah, so there we go. Let's go back to that great segue. So I thought it was going to be, hey, it's all football all the time because softball's done and baseball has been done for a month. Hey, shout out to Link, by the way. Good way to finish it out.
Yeah.
Is it? And did you make the joke on Twitter? Because I had just made it. Like, hey, everybody wanted the next Florida State head coach to win that last game, and Link finally did. Florida State finally won its last game for the first time in 60 years, but not quite the way it wanted to go. But still, a little. We'll get to softball. I know softball takes precedence, so we're getting this out of the way. But it was nice to see them with a little fight to close the season. Something to build on a little bit. It was an awful season, worst season in program history. But they finish up their home schedule with a walk-off win over the number 1 team in the country and then a win on Tuesday night. And then they go on the road and win a series. So they finish, they win 4 of their last 5. Really, really young team. Maybe something to feel pretty good about as you go into next year.
I mean, 4 out of the last 5. I mean, again, no one wanted to let this team into the tournament, so they all lucked out that Florida State did not make it to the ACC tournament.
You're right.
Felt good where they were going. Yeah, they
it
lost
was that. I'm going to say, Aslan, I think it was that 2-22 stretch in the middle of the season that kind of hurt Florida State's chances of getting to the postseason.
Yeah, amazingly, though, I think, Louisville started off 18-2, 19-2, and
Louisville was like top 8 in the country, top 10 in the country at one point this year.
And they got froze out because they lost to Florida State. So Thursday, Louisville won 7-4. Then Florida State turned the tables, scored 7 unanswered to win Friday's game 7-4. And then on Saturday, Connor Whitaker goes 6 innings, allows only 1 earned run. Jaime Ferrer with an RBI double. Ben Barrett with a big day at a triple, as well as an RBI double himself. And they win 6-2. Jamie Arnold came in, shut the door in the 9th inning. So, you feel good about Tibbs and Ferrer, Cam Smith, Diamez Ross. You got those pieces of the heart of your lineup, if you will. And then they just have this complete great opportunity to come play at an awesome place and pitch.
True,
so
absolutely.
Come on down, everybody.
A lot of innings available.
Yeah. All right, on the other side of campus, well, not too far, really, right in the outfield almost. Softball, 53-9 now, as they win the Tallahassee Regional. Friday, they took care of business against Marist in 5 innings, 9-0. Michaela Edenfield, Kaylee Harding with home runs. Combined no-no between McKenna Reed and Mac Leonard. Saturday, 5-1 victory over UCF, snapping the Golden Knights' 14-game win streak. Kaylee Mudge went 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies. And then Sunday, Corey, felt like, I tried to avoid going out there as much as I could because last year I went out there on Sunday and then bad things happened. I watched the first game at home. Florida State dropped it 4-0 to South Carolina. And then the second game, winner-take-all, Game 7 of the regional, and Kat Sandercock with an all-time performance in an all-time position for this program, and it's this Team 40. It was incredible. 1-0 win. Use superlatives. Paint the picture, Corey, with the words only you can to describe what Kat Sandercock did on Sunday in that 1-0 win for Florida State.
I would also recommend everybody go watch the videos on our YouTube channel, and then more importantly, go read Ira's. I thought Ira had a really good column about Ira was out there on Sunday. I was out there on Friday and Saturday. I was going to blame myself because I pulled the same thing last year. I went to Friday and Saturday and watched them win, watched them cruise into the championship Sunday, and I'm like, I don't need to be there for that. They'll beat Mississippi State. That's not a very good team. Right. Next thing I know, their season's over, and then the thing almost happened again this year when I watched the first 2 games, then I bounce and you guys can't handle it. Ira can't handle that kind of apparently that kind of pressure. The weight was on his shoulders and he wasn't going to deliver. But look, it's man. I know Lonnie's talked a lot about, and we had her. I had her on the. We had her on the show, but I did the interview last week with her because Aslan was in Amelia Island, and she talked about how they tried. They really did talk about last year and how much it hurt and why she thought that last year happened and that horrible Sunday happened against Mississippi State, and that she really did think this team was better suited for it. And she said so after the fact because it played out the exact same way it did last year. An SEC school playing its fourth straight game, all you have to do is win one game. It's best you just got to win one of the two, and you go out and lay a complete egg in game one, just like you did last year against Mississippi State. You lose 4-0 this year. Last year you lost 5-0. And then, she said afterwards that she could tell the team was just different. It was a different mindset than it was last year between games. And I know she believes that, and it's probably true. I'm not denying that they probably had a different feel and a different vibe in between games. But they just, whatever their feel was or not, they scored one run and it was unearned. It wasn't like they came out and just destroyed the ball. They fielded well, and Kat Sandercock is awesome, and that's why they're still playing. Yep. And I think that's what needs to be appreciated is in her what would have been her final game if they did not win, and they needed every single one of those outs. Clearly, you'd love your perfect games to come when it's 8-0 or 6-0, not when it's 1-0 and a loss and the season's over. That's an all-time moment to have your first career perfect game, and for the program's first ever tournament perfect game. So just it's Posian, man. It's Ward-esque. It's like when these great athletes in the biggest moments play like that, it just fills you with something good, doesn't it? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like that's what sports is about, stepping up in the moment for your team. And she was incredible. And you can say, yeah, she only struck out 5 of the 21 batters she faced. None of them squared the ball up at all. Her ball, her location was impeccable, and the ball was always moving, so it wasn't hitting the barrel. And every ball they hit was like a two-hopper. Nothing was hit hard. She was in complete control. I think it was it 59 pitches?
Yes.
A 59-pitch perfect game. If it wasn't for TV breaks, that game would have lasted 47 minutes.
And a
unlike
bizarre rain delay with no rain and no lightning.
Don't even get me started on that. It's almost like Florida State just wants their teams to be done. Like you have your best pitcher throwing a perfect game, and you make her sit in the dugout for 50-something minutes because there's lightning 7 miles away going south away from the stadium. It was sun shining. It was
beautiful.
Partly cloudy. And they had a tarp on the field. It's just asinine. They do it all the time this time of year. Whatever. We'll get some this weekend, I'm sure, for Georgia. The world's most sensitive lightning detector. If you sneeze, it goes off, and they have to put the tarp on the field. And guess what? In May and June in Tallahassee, Florida, it's going to be some lightning in the air. There was nothing. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that because they won the game. But going back to Kat Sandercock, they absolutely needed that performance because I'm not going to sit here and say the team responded great. The team played impeccably and didn't let the nerves get to them, and they're a different team than they were last year. No, Kat Sandercock was just awesome. Yeah. And sometimes you need that. I wasn't impressed by that offense. No. They scored one run in 14 innings. Well, 13 innings.
I know it was because in the post game they had Lonnie, Kat, and they had Josie Muffley up there, and I want to be like, and I felt bad because we kept asking Kat all these questions, but like to your point, it was the Kat Sandercock game and nothing less.
Well, right, and look, the defense was impeccable. It was very good, and they needed all those. Like again, she only had five strikeouts. It wasn't like there was 14 Ks and just 5-6 balls put in play. The defense had to make plays, and they made them all, and not all of them were easy because in softball it's all sped up. If you bobble it, it's a hit. So they were great, but you'd like your offense to do a little better than that. So again, I'm not gonna. It's hard to say that the new mindset and approaching it this way or that way is the reason they moved on. I think the reason they moved on is because they have one of the best pitchers in the country. They have one of the best pitchers they've ever had and an all-time competitor. Yes. That's what, again, as I get older and as I've done this for a long enough time, the measurables I know people fall in love with miles per hour or height or weight when it comes to any different sports you want, or 4.4s, and it's competitiveness, man. It's the competitive nature, and she has it. She is just, it's just in her. And that's a really cool thing to have when your season's on the line, because quite frankly, your coach made a mistake in the first game and shouldn't have done what she did and put you behind the 8 ball. But guess what? You've got Kat Sandercock, so you ran the table. That's a pool metaphor. I think a billiards metaphor that I think I pulled off. I don't know.
What, are you saying that Lonnie should have maybe started Kat in game one?
Or McKenna Reed. You don't start, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, and it is humble because Lonnie knows 70 times more about softball than I do. When you only need to win, when you start a player that's pitched, Allie Dubois, I think that's how you pronounce her name, had pitched 3 times in a month. This is a very, very important game. And if you pitch, they've done this before. She started a game against LSU. She started a game, Louisville. She started a game against Notre Dame. But this is the regionals, man. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, when you start a game with your 4th best pitcher, you're kind of, you might be sending a message that it's okay to lose this game. We can lose this game, and we've still got Kat locked and loaded. And they lost that game. They gave up 2 in the first, never came close to even competing in that game. And I just thought that was a mistake. Nothing against her. You might need her again later on. I mean, we talked to Lonnie last week. She likes to show a lot of different arm angles, a lot of different variety, a lot of different pitchers, styles. So I get it. They certainly probably hadn't prepared for her. Allie Dubois. They thought they were going to be getting Sandercock or McKenna Reed, but, it backfired. And I don't think that's the message you want to send, because what happens is whether you pitch Kat Sandercock at 1:30 or you pitch her at 11, I don't know that it makes a difference. She got a couple extra hours of rest. But I've always been of the mindset, when you've only got 1 game to win, even if you got 2 games to do it, go ahead and knock it out that first game. Things get weird. And things can get tight when it comes down, if you give away a game and say, well, it's all right, we still got our ace, we got our hoss waiting in the wings. So even if we lose this game, it's okay. It can get tight. But, they did have their ace, and she was awesome, and she's now the reason that their season is still going. But, yeah, I thought that was a bit of a misstep by Lonnie, but it's also hindsight, right? Like, she's not terrible. Dubois is not terrible. She has pitched, a lot this season. An inning here, an inning there. She'd started 3 games, but she'd started 3 games in the last month. And I just thought maybe Reed or Leonard, if Leonard was able to go, maybe Leonard's back was bothering her. And so this made the most sense to them. But they put themselves in an early hole, never recovered. And then you get into that game 7 winner take all, and that other team feels like they got nothing to lose. And all of a sudden you can get tight, and you can see your season come to an end. But it didn't, because old Kat Sandercock.
If you find yourself in an early hole on your Mondays, why not pop open some Vitamin Energy? VitaminEnergy.com, promo code WARCHAMP, BOGO, B-O-G-O. Lets you buy one and get an item of equal or lesser value for absolutely free over on the VitaminEnergy.com website. You can also find them at Sunstops throughout the Southeast, maybe even the entire country. Let us know. Take a photo. Tag us on social media. Vitamin Energy gives you 7 hours of energy and essential vitamins. Vitamins B, vitamin C. Shoot, there's even protein in one of these, I think, a little bit. Crazy. It's all with natural caffeine, no sugar crash. Again, no non-GMO, kosher certified. It's the good stuff, everybody. Check them out, vitaminenergy.com. Promo codes WARCHAMP, BOGO, B-O-G-O. Shake it, take it. Corey was talking to Ira Sunday.
Okay.
And he was a little bit tense. Because I think Florida State had, they got like a 2-out double in the top half of the top half of the 6th inning, or bottom half, home half of the 6th.
Bottom of the 6th, yeah. Devin Flaherty, the great Devin Flaherty with a double to the wall, yeah.
Yeah, so Ira was a little bit nervous, like, man, I really wish they'd be able to get another run in. I'm like, yeah, and it's like, I wonder how we even would go forward and talk about this team in terms of, this offense has got to wake up if they want to make to Oklahoma City. I was like, I'm almost at a point, you don't want to live this way, but like if I told you you're only going to score 3 runs this weekend in the regional against Georgia, most teams, I don't know what their win probability would be, but I feel like Florida State would still be like in the green they'd be in the black on like maybe a 52% chance to advance, even if they score 3 runs. Because you figure, like, shoot, they might win game 1 2-1, and then Kat Sandercock can throw another game on Saturday, and you can win 1-0 on a shutout. Don't necessarily want to be living that, close to the edge, but I don't know, maybe I'm just living too much prisoner of the moment, but from what I saw from her on Sunday, I just believe that, like, shoot, man, even if this offense can't find, kind of the pop that they've had at certain points this season, they'll probably be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I'll say this: I wouldn't suggest going 13 innings and scoring 1 run again. Georgia can't hit. Like, I think Georgia's like top 5 in the country in home runs. They beat the tar out of Virginia Tech, 13-2 or 13-4 or something on Sunday. They're playing well and they can really hit. So, now again, they haven't faced Sandercock. They haven't faced this staff, but it won't be as easy as it was against Virginia Tech. But I don't think that 3 runs is going to get it done. They need to figure out a way to touch Holmes. That first game was so eerily reminiscent of their first game last year. Just not really all that competitive at bats, quick at bats, easy at bats, no pressure on the defense. That second game looked more like them, and I thought they got a little bit unlucky at times. And the other, in South Carolina made some plays. But, I think they need to score more than 3. I would say the race is to 8.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just get to 8.
Okay.
Get to 8, and you're gonna win. But Georgia can hit it, man. Georgia can hit it. So I don't know that you're gonna. She probably won't have another perfect game this weekend.
Georgia 14th in the country, batting .320, 5th in the nation home runs per game, over 1.5, and 2nd in the nation in slugging percentage. So.
Yeah,
a little bit of a different challenge coming to Tallahassee. Yeah. As we record this show, we do not have the schedule yet for the Supers. Not sure. I think Florida State would prefer. I think when you put in your bid, they ask for like a Thursday, Friday, if needed Saturday.
Oh, really? You think that's what they'd like?
I think I overheard one of the people that talks about that stuff talking
okay.
about. Yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess maybe because people might be going out of town for Memorial Day and you want to make sure they're there.
Yeah.
I will say this. I have to talk about it because I was there and I lived it. What happened on Saturday with that UCF game, if anybody else watched that or had to endure it, is comical. It's preposterous. That game, Aslan, well, you were watching the baseball game.
Yeah.
The Florida State baseball game started at 1 o'clock against Louisville. 9-inning baseball game.
Yep.
Same time that the Florida State softball game started against Central Florida. The Florida State baseball game ended, I'm going to guess, 45 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier. It took 3 hours and 13 minutes to play a 7-inning softball game. And not only that, man, it was 5-1. It wasn't 19-16. It was 5-1. And it took 3 hours and 13 minutes because the UCF pitcher would take 40 seconds in between pitches. And if you think to yourself, well, 40 seconds, that's not 2 minutes. Just start counting to yourself 40, from 40 down to 1, and do that every pitch. It was mind-numbing. It was ridiculous. It's so bad for the sport, too. And Lonnie said as much afterwards. She's like, we might need a pitch clock. Like, the beauty of softball is the pace of it, how quick it can go. It's the antithesis of what baseball used to be. But now you got the Braves played a baseball game on Sunday that literally was 2 hours and 5 minutes. It took an hour and 8 minutes less to play a Major League Baseball game than it did to take a 7-inning college softball game that I was at on Saturday. So good riddance to UCF. The pitcher's awesome. She's really good, but that's a joke. That coaching like that, she would get on the rubber. She would stand behind the mound. And like Kat Sandercock even said it. She's like, look, I got a long time in between my pitches too. So she's like, if there was a pitch clock, I would have to adjust, but I would. But the UCF pitcher would go behind home after every pitch, Aslan, every pitch. She'd get the ball. She'd walk behind the circle. She'd put her hand in the dirt, get hand on her dirt. She'd stand up, look at the catcher, then walk to the rubber, stand on the rubber, and I'm guessing 3 or 4 seconds she just stood on the rubber. Then she would turn into the dugout to get the signal. She'd look at the dugout for 3 or 4 seconds, then turn back to the catcher, and then start what I can only describe as a sumo ninja wrestling move wind up to home. Yeah, I can't even describe it. You'd have to see it.
I'm trying to find video of it on. By the way, do not just search Sarah Willis on Twitter if you're at work.
So,
I don't know what's going on that app these days, man.
Do Sarah Willis wind up,
yeah,
or Sarah Willis? Just I guess I didn't know. Okay,
you might catch a stray out there, kids.
But yeah, she would like lean forward, lean back, squat down like she'd lost the contact, lift back up, and then go home. I mean, it was incredible. So I was very, very happy that they lost to South Carolina because I couldn't watch that anymore.
All right, Florida State takes on Georgia this weekend, TBD, as we're recording this, but you'll probably know. If you're connected to warchant.com, which you should be, folks, do it. All right, before we go out, though, Corey, Brooks Koepka, incredible, man. 5th major after, maybe kind of being left for dead with knee injuries and then, self-exiling, if you will, to the LIV tour overseas. It was crazy to see him surge over the weekend and then pull it out Sunday. Just absolutely gutty. Nice guy, man. I don't. It's not the right. I know where I want to go with this. I just want to. He could have been so. Golf is a gentleman's game. There's this sort of air of elitism you need to almost have, and you see me very. Everything's being very hushed, reverent tones when you're talking about the game. I thought he handled the Wanamaker Trophy presentation really well. He was very humble. He also said the PJ did a great job putting on the tournament. But, man, and I guess it's not those guys' faults behind him in the suits. I think maybe it's more of the golf Twitter, if that's such a thing. But, man, he took a lot of heat. And I think, Jeff had a good tweet about, hey, a lot of it might have been self kind of induced. But, man, that was to win that tournament, right? Because it's the LIV Tour, it's the PGA Tour, it's the PGA Championship, it's the professionals marquee event. It's incredible, man. And this, I would have just, I don't know, man. I'd have pistols firing the entire time. I don't know, man. I would have not been nearly as gracious as our guy Brooks, but shout out to him adding to the lore of Florida State golf, man. Shout out to our guy.
Yeah, man, it's pretty remarkable. I don't know. I should have looked it up. I don't know how many people in PGA history, or golf history, I should say, have won 5 majors.
20.
It's only 20, right?
Yeah.
This is crazy stuff. And the way he's played, he's not done. Like he if he wouldn't have kind of choked, and he admitted he choked, or he described it as a choke on the Sunday at Augusta, he could have won that. He could have won the first 2 legs of a Grand Slam. That's how well he's playing right now. And it is cool. Like, look, I'm not a big fan of, and I'm not necessarily a fan of, I get why Brooks Koepka did it, because I think he legitimately, and I think he's even said this, the reason he left for the LIV, or one of the allures of it, one of the real reasons he thought to do it, was he wasn't sure if he'd ever be great again. And they're offering a huge chunk of money that he might not ever be able to go get on his own anymore. Like, I think if the LIV had come along when he's in the middle of that majors run in like 18 and 19, he probably says no to it. Because, like, what do I need that for? I'm winning $4 million tournaments every other month. I'm fine. Yeah. And I want to keep playing on the PGA Tour. But he's always kind of cared, he's always cared almost solely about the majors and not the regular PGA Tour. But also, he was in a place where, with the injuries and everything, he wasn't sure he would ever get back to there again. And they were offering him a huge chunk of money, so it made sense. It bums me out that his fans don't get to see him play in this country. And I don't just mean like in tour stops. I mean, what TV channels live on? I have no
CW,
idea.
I think now, actually.
I mean, give me a break, right? Like, nobody's watching LIV. It's not real tournaments. It's team golf, and it just isn't what we've all grown up liking and watching. But he certainly has a right to do it, and I'm all for the PGA becoming, I don't know, man, more player friendly, if that sounds fair. Like, it's the only professional sport where, like, if a football player, if Matt Ryan goes and throws 3 interceptions, he still gets his check. But the PGA guys, you got to go make a cut. It's and there's no appearance fees, and so I get the allure of the LIV, and I know there will be some more money, and the PGA will get closer to what LIV is, and hopefully, Koepka becomes a player that plays in the States more than we've seen in the last couple of years. But all that out of the equation. Don't even worry about it. I thought he was done. I thought his career was over. I thought he was going to go slap it around on some tour on some random cable television access channel that nobody watches, and we'd see him every year in the majors, but never really contending because he just wasn't himself anymore. I shouldn't have said that. I mean, it's not like he's 50. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought his
because he was saying it, man. He was really upfront and candid about just how nervous he was about his future, man. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. And if you watch him on that Netflix show, you could see it there that he was really kind of wrestling with some stuff. And then for him a year later, to almost win the Masters and then really dominate the last 3 days of the PGA Championship. That's just a cool story. The backdrop is live, and so I know some people aren't cool with it, or aren't as happy for him as they would be. But man, he's a guy that's only really cared about the majors anyway, and that's just such a great performance. And it's really cool to see. It's like, in a way, kind of Sandercockian, like just those types of people that raise their level when it matters most. And this might be the only show you'll listen to, folks, where Brooks Koepka gets compared to a college softball pitcher. But it just happened here. So you're lucky
free.
And you're welcome.
Show is free, everybody.
The show is free, everyone. You're not paying
Incredible.
anybody for this.
Incredible.
But those people that rise to those moments. And he said on Saturday when I guess the conditions were so bad, he's like, I love it when the conditions are harder. The harder it is, the better it is for me. The more I like it. And I do believe that. That's not just talk. I think he loves hard conditions. I think he loves majors. It kind of comes off pompous at times when he was on his roll and he was talking about majors, and he'd be like, yeah, I love going to majors because going there, half the field has no chance. Yeah. So you're not really playing 150 other people. You're really playing about 25 other people. And it's a major, and I like my chances. And it's like, that nobody's ever talked really like that about on a golf tour before. Koepka did, and he lives up to it. And it's just, I thought he was done. To see greatness achieved, lost, and then achieved again, that was what was so cool this weekend for me about Brooks Koepka. Because, man, it doesn't look like it's going away. I mean, he was on point. I don't know how much you got to watch because you were at softball, but he had a couple of wayward shots. But other than that, man, he was just throwing darts.
Yeah.
And he was not overwhelmed by the moment in the least.
What happened to the Hovland guy? So he was in the bunker and then he
sculled
it and just embedded it to the earth?
And he did the same thing the Corey Connors guy did the day before that I randomly saw. They're in the same bunker. They try to hit it out. Instead of lifting it, it goes straight line drive. It doesn't get more than 8 inches off the ground and plugs into the side of the bunker. I think it plugs into it didn't even plug into the bunker. It plugged into the grass right above the bunker. It just plugged
the
there.
lip, the lip, right into the lip of it.
And also, it's like, why is that not a penalty? Like, he just gets relief from that? Like, shouldn't you have to hack that out of that? But they didn't. So anyway, he lost the tournament right there. That was one horrible shot where he lost the tournament. And Brooks had a couple of wayward ones too. But when it mattered, and especially when he saw my man plug it into the bunker, he was just thinking, buddy, you just lost yourself the tournament. Yep. I'm not letting this go to waste. And of course, he hits a dart onto the green. I think he even made the putt on that one. So it went from him being up by 1 to him being up by 4 in one hole, and that was a wrap. Brooks isn't going to blow a big lead late. So yeah, man, that I just thought the LIV and the PGA at this point, I don't care about it. I think it's awesome that Brooks Koepka is back because I didn't know he could get back, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, he's a Florida State Seminole, everybody, so at the very least there should be some joy there. We should let our guy Mark, maybe he'll post a question on Renegade Express. He can speak for the golfing community at large. Very moderate voice in the golf community, our guy Mark.
Right.
All right, on the way out, Corey, give these folks some winners over at mybookie.ag where you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, and when you sign up and use the promo code WARCHANT, you get an instant cash deposit bonus. I'm hurt, dog. Lakers are done for, but that's what we got tonight, unless you want me to jump over to the Diamond, Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, I don't see anything for softball, because I know we'd be all over that one if we possibly could. But Game 4, Lakers are favored by 3.5. Point total is 224.5.
I tell you what, man, there's part of me that thinks it's just going to be lights out. Like, LeBron and Anthony Davis have played so much basketball. LeBron specifically has played so much NBA basketball, and I think he's played more playoff games than anyone ever. he knows they're not coming back to win 4 in a row. He knows that's not happening. So why even? What's the point? Or is it, man, I'm not getting swept. I'm not going out like that. I'm at least winning one. I'm going to show some pride. And the Nuggets might take their foot off the gas, quite frankly. They're up 3-0. So I could see it playing that way, but in my heart of hearts, I think they're going to pull off the sweep. How about that, by the way? The NBA was so close to having the Celtics and the Lakers. And it's probably going to be the Nuggets and the Heat.
Jeez.
How about that?
I think I saw the Lakers if they've ever fallen behind 3-0 in a series, they've always gotten swept. Like they've never even pushed it to a game 5.
They know the deal. They know why even try.
College football back on the board over at mybookie.ag, but I think it's a little bit of slimmer odds or longer odds. I don't know the proper terminology here, Corey, but I think it used to be plus 2,100 for our Noles. It's now plus 1,875 for them to win the national championship. Sounds like our friends out there are getting a little bit wise to what Florida State can be this season. So if you were to put 100 ducats on that, you'd win $1,875.
Seems like a pretty good bet. Good value bet for sure.
Just telling you, folks. It's over there at mybookie.ag, promo code WARCHANT. Use it. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere over at mybookie.ag. All right, that's a wrap for us, Corey. You'll be back tomorrow doing Seminole headlines, I assume?
That's right. Absolutely, buddy.
Okay. We'll do a Renegade Express, maybe even a live show, Corey. I might have to do a live show. What are your thoughts on that? Ruminate on it. Don't make a decision now.
I will.
We'll do a mailbag because we skipped it on last week. And maybe we'll try to get Do we want to get Kat Sandercock on the show? We feel like we give her bad juju. I feel like we need to do an interview. It's interview season, feels like.
Why don't we could do Lonnie again. We could do one of the players. Let's talk about it.
Okay. We'll talk about this.
One of the golfers even, maybe. I don't care. Maybe Brooke. Why don't we get Koepka?
Well, all right. I'll get on the phone. I'll see if I can get a hold of William Morris Agency or whatever he's with. See what we can work out. We'll crank out 2 more shows for you folks at the minimum. But check out warchant.com. In the meantime, Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock on 93.3 FM, as well as Warchant TV. That's our YouTube channel. You should be subscribed to it. It's totally free. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Maybe a 5-star rating and review. I think we earned it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.